Money in the Bank was a professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by WWE. It took place on June 29, 2014 at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. It is the fifth annual Money in the Bank event. 8 matches took place at the event, with no match aired on the pre-show. There were 2 main events. The first was a traditional Money in a Bank ladder match, which was won by Seth Rollins. The second and last match of the night was a ladder match for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which was won by John Cena. Background: Money in the Bank featured professional wrestling matches that involved wrestlers from pre-existing scripted feuds, plots, and storylines that played out on WWE's primary television programs, Raw and SmackDown. Wrestlers portrayed faces or heels as they followed a series of events that built tension and culminated in a wrestling match or series of matches. After previous champion Daniel Bryan was stripped of the title due to injury, Stephanie McMahon announced on the June 9 edition of Raw that instead of being for a championship contract, the titular Money in the Bank ladder match at this event would instead be for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship itself. On the June 2 episode of Raw, Alberto Del Rio qualified for the match by defeating Dolph Ziggler, and the following week, Triple H placed Randy Orton into the match, while United States champion Sheamus and Cesaro defeated Intercontinental champion Bad News Barrett and Rob Van Dam respectively to qualify. On the June 13 episode of SmackDown, Bray Wyatt qualified for the match after defeating Dean Ambrose. On the June 16 episode of Raw, Roman Reigns qualified for the match by winning a 20-man battle royal, and John Cena won a spot in the match, having qualified by defeating Kane in a stretcher match. On the June 23 episode of Raw, Kane was added to the match by Triple H, rounding out the 8-man field. During the John Cena-Bray Wyatt feud, WWE Tag Team Champions Jimmy and Jey Uso inserted themselves in the rivalry alongside Cena to ensure his matches with the Wyatt family were fair and to counteract Wyatt family members Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. At Payback, the Usos will once again be in Cena's corner to even the odds, and in the process, Cena defeated Bray Wyatt in a last-man-standing match to culminate the feud. The next night on Raw, Rowan and Harper shifted their attention to the Usos, defeating the latter in a non-title tag team match on the June 2 episode of Raw. Due to this win, they earned a match for the Tag Team Championship at the pay-per-view. On the June 17 episode of Main Event, Seth Rollins announced that a traditional Money in the Bank ladder match would take place at the PPV. The winner of this match will receive a briefcase with a contract that entitles him to a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at any date, place, and time of his choosing within the next year. Rollins also announced himself as the first participant in the match. On June 23 episode of Raw, Triple H added Intercontinental Champion Bad News Barrett, Dolph Ziggler, Rob Van Dam, Kofi Kingston, and Jack Swagger to the match. Later that night, Rollins requested Ambrose be added to the match, to which Triple H agreed. During the WWE Kickoff show, it was announced that Barrett was no longer going to compete in the Money in the Bank ladder match due to an injury he had suffered on the June 27 episode of SmackDown. On the June 23 episode of Raw, it was announced that Daniel Bryan will have an exclusive interview on the Kickoff show before the event on the WWE Network, WWE.com, the WWE app, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest and Feed. This will take the place of the traditional pre-show match on previous pay-per-view events. On the June 17 episode of Main Event, WWE Divas champion Paige was defeated by Naomi in a non-title match. This would set up a title match at the PPV, with Paige defending against Naomi. At Payback, after they lost to Rebaxel, Cody Rhodes told his brother, Goldust, that he deserves a better partner than him. Following Payback, Goldust was unsuccessful in defeating Rebaxel with his new partners, chosen for him by Cody. On the June 16 episode of Raw, Cody debuted as Stardust and teamed with his brother to defeat Rebaxel. On the June 24 episode of Main Event, Rebaxel challenged Stardust and Goldust to a match at the pay-per-view, which they accepted. Fandango replaced Summer Rae with Layla as his dance partner and valet. On the May 19 episode of Raw, Rae returned and attacked Layla. They continued to attack each other and interfere in Fandango's matches, thus setting up a match at the pay-per-view, with Fandango as the special guest referee. Since his debut, Rusev was presented as a Russian super athlete. His manager, Lana, insulted USA many times, including an attack on WWE Hall of Famer Jim Duggan, known for his patriotic gimmick, until Big E saved him. Big E and Rusev had a match at Payback, but Big E was defeated by Rusev in a squash. After the event, continued to attack each other, setting up a match at the pay-per-view. Aftermath: Randy Orton received medical assistance after the event. He received 12 staples to close the gash in his head suffered during the main event of Money in the Bank. The following night on Raw, the Authority held a mock celebration for John Cena and revealed he would be featured on the cover of the WWE 2K15 video game, but Cena made it clear that he would not allow the Authority to control him. Triple H then announced Cena would defend the championship at Battleground in a fatal four-way match against Orton, Kane, and Reigns. In a tag team match between those four superstars later in the night, Seth Rollins attempted to cash in his briefcase against an assaulted Cena for his championship, but was stopped by Dean Ambrose, who earlier in the show declared that he'd be there to stop Rollins from cashing in his briefcase successfully. Also on Raw, AJ Lee returned and successfully challenged Paige for the Divas Championship for her second reign. Bad News Barrett, who was scheduled to compete in the Money in the Bank ladder match, had been stripped of his Intercontinental Championship due to injury, and the Authority announced a battle royal for the vacant championship at Battleground. Reception: Torch James Caldwell described the Money in the Bank ladder match as excellent MITB ladder match that had a little bit of everything, focusing on the Ambrose-Rollins feud and gave it 1/4. Also, he compared the Money in the Bank and the ladder match and said not as good as the similar MITB ladder match, as there were too many wrestlers in the match, the middle really dragged, and this felt more disorganized and cluttered than the nicely structured previous match. He gave the main event. Insider Dave Scherer criticized the decision to crown John Cena as champion. According to him, he hated the result, and it's the wrong decision, and I think the crowd was very representative of how many fans felt tonight as they cheered for a lot of new talent and groaned at a lot of the older talent. Also, he liked the opener, the Money in the Bank ladder match and the Rusev Big E. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter gave the Money in the Bank ladder match 1/2 while the WWE World Heavyweight Championship ladder match was given A. Results: see also, list of WWE pay-per-view events, Money in the Bank ladder match, WWE Money in the Bank, references. External links, official website.